With an estimated 2.4 million people who have left Nigeria in the last 5 years, a report by the World Economic Forum shows that Nigeria has the highest number of highly skilled immigrants leaving the country in Africa and other developed climes for greener pastures. Every passing year, more and more Nigerians at the peak of their productive age escape the pervasive corruption and lack of opportunities at home to seek greener pastures in lands far removed from home. The result is a brain drain that deprives our nation of the talent and expertise it needs to develop and compete globally. This human capital export, particularly known as Japa, a Yoruba word that has become a trending buzz on social media amongst young Nigeria, have raised many concerns about the consequent deprivation in many of Nigeria's struggling sectors, particularly the health and financial services sector. Joining me now live virtually from Lagos as we take a critical look at this contending issue is Samson Olatunde, who is a digital entrepreneur and a media and growth strategist. Samson, good morning and many thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me here.
So I don't really need to ask you the reason why many Nigerians, especially young people, are leaving this country in their numbers. We have from the report from the World Economic Forum, it shows that 20,000 Nigerian professionals are leaving this country on a yearly basis. What are the what are the rationale behind this, and what are the consequences on the future of work in Nigeria?
Okay, thank you. This is an interesting topic. And then the reality about what is currently happening is that so much talent in Nigeria, but unfortunately, we have many things that are not in place. For instance, there's inadequate infrastructure that is making many of these people to leave our country and get into another country. Why? Because if the government can put in place many infrastructure, then people will not need to want to leave their country. Number two is the lifestyle living. I mean, so you already have the statistic that shows that an average person live below $1, right, in a day. That's extremely low. And so people are looking for where they can earn more money, and that gives access to increase in job insecurity. For instance, if I'm working somewhere, it's not sure that the next month I'm likely to still work in the same place because everything keeps going up. I mean, you have the cost of running a business keep going on. So the entrepreneur will think of hiring the best of the best, even though they can afford it. And then the best of the best is already in the multinationals. And even the multinationals are trying to downsize because of the cost of production, the cost of running the business, which is still around the infrastructure that is not in place. There's no security in place that is enough. You don't have access to tech in place. The cost of running the business in terms of the diesel and all of that is high. So all of that rubs and comes down to the employees. And so that's some of the reason why you see many people migrating. Then you have the poor remunerations. I mean, you have poor salaries that is being given to people based on the number of hours they work and compared to what they are earning. So these are some of the challenges that is making many of our talents to get out there. I mean, this has affected the major sector, like the banking sector, has affected, major sector that has to do with retail stores and all of that, because many of them are powered with tech guys. And then those guys, because of the skills that they have, and they're looking for it in this other part of the country, it has really affected. So I believe that if all of these things are put in place, people will be willing to come back. Because the reality is that now that is really convenient for them over there, but they know that is what their time is worth. All of the things they need to enjoy. You see that you're working, you're seeing the money. You see that you have the infrastructure. I mean, for instance, imagine you can't get to a bank and have access to Wi-Fi. You can't get to a school to have access to a free Wi-Fi. You can't get to the airport to have access to a free Wi-Fi. This is something that we are supposed to enjoy normally for many of us who have traveled to different parts of the world. These are things that are norm. You don't need to struggle to get it done. But we don't have all of that. And these are the things that has led to a lot of massive migration of talent from our country to other parts of the world.
Thank you for that insight. But then again, let's quickly look at this. impact on human capital development. It was said by the World Bank that Nigerians' human capital development rank among the worst globally. Now, with a decline in brain drain, with an increase in brain drain, what do you think this will ripple effect this will have on the workforce and also the economy?
You see, the reality is that many things are wrong in terms of foundational. Many things are wrong. I mean, people get into the space of leadership not to serve, but because of what they want to get, because of the packages that are available for them. And so, first, the cost of running governance is extremely high, and that is affecting almost everybody within a space in the country, right? Two is that there's no template. Template in the sense that another person comes in, there's no continuity. There's no template to say, this is what we want to achieve in 40 years in this state, in this country. And then the next president who is coming, the next governor who is coming, the next commissioner who is coming, it goes through that same template to continue. So there's no continuity. So automatically there will be a lot of what is currently happening in any part of the world if all of that is not in place. Number three, why do we have these issues in terms of human capital? Because of the fact that, you see, when you look at the curriculum, just check our curriculum, 6334. I mean, look at the curriculum from the primary school to secondary school to higher institution. I mean, even the teachers are struggling to teach. The teachers don't even have more knowledge to teach the students who are in there. The students even have more access to information on the internet because of the fact that they are techie, but their teachers are not techie, their lecturers are not techie. You know, you get into a university setting, lecturers are just in there. They probably want to sell their books, their manuals, and passing students. So people literally go to school in this part of the world, Nigeria, just to pass the exam, not really using the information they've gathered. Many, I'm talking about many now, graduates. So by the time you begin to interview a graduate, you realize that it doesn't even have a vision. It doesn't have other skills that is informal, that he or she must have acquired. And then even what is studied in school is not what is relatable to what he's currently doing. I mean, you can literally pick 10 people in Nigeria, and I can tell you that almost 8 of them, what they came out, the qualification they came out from school with is not what they're using to work. Now, what that means is that there's a fundamental issue with the kind of people that we have in leadership. Now, you just need the primary school certificate for you to be able to get into office. Now, those people who are getting to office don't even though they travel, don't have the capacity with the people that they have. Not that they don't have the right people in their team. Some of them do have, but they don't want to make that happen in our country because of their myopic mindset, because of the psychology of the fact that they just are greedy, they just want to earn the money. And then you go from the family. This whatever is happening in governance, in leadership, as individual, started from the home, because the home trainings, to the schooling, to the perception of the templates, to even you knowing that you can't drop things on the floor because of the environment, how neat it is. But there are some places that we get to that we are afraid of doing what we do in Nigeria, right? Because the structures are in place. So the reality about the human capital getting more worse is that, for instance, how many training schools do we have? How many organizations have opened their doors for people to come? Maybe when you're in 300, 400 level, you can walk to an institution, an organization, and then go learn, go study. All of these 6-month IT trainings that you go in universities, that you get in university rather, and you go to work in an organization doesn't work, because even the NYC scheme is not working. Many people get letters, and when they get to where they're supposed to be employed, they tell them they don't need their services. Now, if this template is well structured, that every organization who is doing certain number of figure or who has certain number of structure must have these people go through this training, and then this training must build them up so that they can think of retainership within their organization. I mean, we have gone a long way.